Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Philip Dale Phil, call me Phil. I'm the founder of Small Talk Circles. I keep talking to some of you guys just down there. I was teasing you a little bit, saying that we've been here for 9 years now. This is the 9th season. 9th season. And you guys are all first timers. Where have you been? Where have you been the last 9 years? Anyway, I'm glad you're here tonight, okay? And don't miss it the last time either. Please keep coming to Small Talk Circles. You go to your respective university website. So, hard work. Better than that. And you'll find out, when the next event is. We have tea reception once a month. Okay, once a month. City University, Hong Kong U, Chinese U, corporate offices. We go around different places for our monthly tea reception, okay? And you don't pay a dime to get in here to get food, drinks, and meet new people. It's exciting. Small Talk Circles is done. The most refreshing learning platform in all of Hong Kong. You know what? We have 17 universities and private colleges. Members of this little club. Isn't that wonderful? So you're one of the 17. Okay, I just want to start by saying a few things. Things that I always like to talk about. One working? Oh, here we are. All right, this is the certificate we put out. Hi, David. You want to come and say hello to your buddy sitting in the front? These two are my classmates 40 years ago. We took MBA together, right? 38 years ago to be 38 years to be exact, before you guys were born, okay? Now, we have a certificate, Small Talk Circles certificate, and we operate on an honor system. Honor system, if you've been here 5 times and over, you come to one of us, one of the student volunteers in the back there with the yellow tag, or you can come to me, and we'll give you one of these certificates, okay? Very powerful piece of paper. The 2 organizations on either side of it, the one is Zhongxiu Small Medium Chamber, or Chamber of Small and Medium Business, okay? Chamber of Small and Medium Business. And the other one is actually big. It's Employers Federation of Hong Kong. So you guys go for your job interview, you show one of these. And chances are 99% of the company that you're interviewing for is a member of this, out of this organization. And that's how powerful that is. That will at least get you half a step into the company, right? So 5 times and over, you come to me, and we wouldn't question you how many times you come. You just come to me, you think you've been here for 5 times and over, we'll get you one of this, okay? All right, now this is my favorite subject, and it's also tied in with Derek Than's talk tonight about housing situations in Hong Kong and shortage of land and land reclamation. I wrote this article in 2014, right after the umbrella movement. And at the end of the article, this is some China Morning Post article that I put out, it's called Letters Called, and they printed it. And people saw it and they just phoned me up and said, congratulations, Philip, you hit one of the major issues in Hong Kong, which is housing. This city, and most of us live in a tiny quarter, 300-400 square foot, with your mom and dad, and your sibling, your brother, and your sister. Unheard of around the world. Hong Kong is one of those. Small, close quarters, tight. Some actually with rats and cockroaches running around, Public housing, okay? And 50% of Hong Kong residents They're going to stuck in that situation for the rest of their life. No hope. No chance of advancement.
Property is now costing roughly 13,000 per square feet to 40,000. Oh, I'm not including luxury buildings. They may be 100,000 or more.
40,000 is not luxury.
Not luxury.
Oh dear.
Luxury is 100,000 or 70 or so. Okay? Well, if we just look at the cost element of the building, which will including the construction, the land cost, which these are the two main costs. But then obviously we need to design and manage the cost, the finance cost, marketing, and the developer's profit. Okay? Okay, construction costs. Hong Kong is probably the highest in Asia, or maybe also in the world. If we compare that, our cost of construction with China, we are 5 times more expensive when we're talking about infrastructure projects, and perhaps 10 times more expensive than China in buildings. Well, if I go into detail, it's too technical talk, so I just get it from me. It is true, okay? Because I was also building stuff in China. Currently, construction costs of ordinary buildings circa 3,000 per square feet, okay? And luxury flats is 4,000. If you could come to the villas, etc., perhaps it comes up to 4,500. So these are the true picture, okay? You may have to remember a little bit later. Land costs, of course, depends on the location. Rural areas like Yulong, Tuen Mun is now called auction price is 6,000. Okay? If you come to areas like above the NTL station or Central, which will be over 20,000 per square feet. And Kai Tak, which is now very popular, a lot of buildings taking place. It's between 13,000 to 18,000 feet. So that's, okay, as I said, the costs include all this. That's the design and construction cost, as I just explained, is 3,000 to 4,000. Okay, that's what we have. The legal and finance costs don't underestimate, because usually a project will take 5 years to complete from the day they auction the land. Because in Hong Kong, everything's very slow. Okay? So if you're talking about 5% per year, interest costs, you're talking about 25%, which is a huge number. Marketing, you have seen a lot of advertisement everywhere. It's costing quite a lot. Okay? Of course, risk is the developer, they need to assess. But don't underestimate the selling expenses. Commission paid to the middleman, which usually is between 3 to 4%. And reason that's the case, a developer is offering 8% to the agent. So it's a huge number. Okay? So of course the profit. Well, people will tend to say, well, because developers make tons of profits. Is it true? If we calculate, let's say we use Kai Tak as example, okay? Calculate the land that's auctioned at a certain price and compare that with the selling price they are predicting, okay? If then you start deducting all the costs, the average profit the developers are making is around 10 to 12%. So actually not an astronomical percentage. The biggest cost, obviously, is the land cost. Okay? So that's why I try to explain the cost element for you to understand the overall situation. So then, of course, you will ask, why is the land so expensive? Okay? Why? Because Hong Kong as a whole, the area is 1,000 kilometers. To be exact, 1,111 square kilometers. But most citizens live in only on the 7% of available land. Why? Well, the rest is either protected areas, the parks, the farmland, the forest, and destined to other purpose, airport, container terminal, etc. And the population of Hong Kong in 2018 is 7.45 million. It's going to be 8.22 million by 2043. Okay, that's the government's estimate. Where does it come from? The natural growth is 69,000. Okay, that's 2018 versus 2017. The influx of new immigrants from China is 42,000. So, as the population grows, where if we do not have a corresponding increase in land, obviously the property price will only go up, okay? And then it causes the land price also go up. So it's just a matter of supply and demand. No matter what you do, still the same thing. Even somebody donate 1,000 billion, still the same problem. Okay? Still the same problem. You still find land to build a house. Okay?
Yeah, with $1 billion, you can buy land.
Where? Where?
Brownfield.
Huh? No. Oh, that I'm coming to, okay?
Brownfield.
Yes, that I'm coming to, okay? So then you say, why? Because apparently Hong Kong has tons of money, and why are we in this situation? Okay? Why is the new land so difficult to come by? Okay, so let me explain. In the past 10 plus years, there are very few new land. Very, very few. The last piece of big area that's provided is Tung Chung New Town, which by now is over 20 years. Okay, that's the fact. Okay, so it's a deep-rooted problem. Well, despite, of course, every CE has been saying this is a problem, but you need a lot of effort. But despite all their trying, at least for the last 10 years, we have seen very limited success. Obviously, we expect the problem is complicated and difficult. Okay? Otherwise, everybody would do it. So let's understand why is that so. Well, if we're talking about how to solve the problem objectively, because we are at this situation right now today, okay? We're short of land, so where do we go? Okay? If we want more land, the few questions we'll be asking ourselves, how much would it cost us? How long would it take? And where should we have the new land? Because we must answer all these questions before we embark on any solution. Okay? We just think, oh, we have money. No use. You must answer the three objective questions. Time. Well, Warren Buffett once they say you can't get a baby by getting 9 women pregnant in 1 month. Okay? So things does take time. Okay? If a problem has to be there for over 10 years, unfortunately, there's no quick solution. Any solution will probably take 10, 15, if not 20 years if we go dedicated along the road. It won't just happen like, this is solved. And also, bear in mind, of course, you guys probably haven't been born. In 1997, Mr. Tung Chee Hwa tried to promote 80,000 slogan. But see what happened. Almost the whole banking system or the economy collapsed, and most people went to negative assets, so everybody's unhappy. So that's the maximum or fastest speed one can go. Okay? Okay, cost. When we talk about cost, we must say what does it compare to. You cannot just say, oh, this 500 billion is too expensive. Well, what do you compare to? So we are trying to see, look, if we want to get new land, what's the cheapest option, okay? And then we compare those options, then we see, oh, this is probably the best way forward, okay? And also, there's a big issue regarding where should the land be, okay? Because if you build a building, what do you need? At least need access to the building, right? The roads and bridges need to build. The kids need to go to school, so you have to have the school nearby. And hospital, of course, when gets sick. And the infrastructures, like the sewage system, you need recreation facilities, and you need commercial facilities. So things are not as simple as just to put a building here or there. It doesn't work. Because if you do a plan, you have to do a proper plan. Okay? You cannot just build building here and there, and eventually it will backfire. Just take a look at Sha Tin, it's newly reclaimed land, and see what sort of facility over there is. Okay? It takes government over 40 years, because when I graduated, my first job was in Sha Tin, in town, just when it was reclaimed. It took over 40 years to fully develop the area. And then there's some area you cannot even touch. Mong Kok. Okay. How can you build another building in Mong Kok? It's just full up. And of course you can rebuild, but that's another topic which is also very tedious. Okay, so then you ask, look, I'm a citizen, I'm a student, I'm a layman, so what does the government do? Why do the government do something? So in April 2018, the government commenced a survey of public opinion and study of various possible sources of land supply, which you all heard of. Okay. Personally, I don't think it's a good way to do a sort of public poll on land supply. Or 99% of a building is built on piles. That won't be affected by the settlement. What will affect is the roads and the drainage underneath, okay? Depending on the magnitude of the settlement. Okay? For example, if we are talking about Tung Chung, the total settlement we can expect in Tung Chung will be around 4 to 5 meters. So, oh, a lot. But the 4 to 5 meter, 90% of which will be settled during construction period. Okay? The residual settlement, roughly less than 500 millimeter for the next 50 years. That's what we are talking about. Okay? So I think we must have some facts and figures to understand the whole picture. And settlement can be accelerated because if we you surcharge the area, put more pressure, and the water will go out faster. So that's more technical stuff. Actually, a lot of things can be done. Okay? It's not like simply settlement, but you need to understand what's the magnitude, how long, right, and what's the impact. The most severe impact maybe if you look at Chong Wan Road, when it's settled, you have to relay the road, resurface the road, or relay the drainage. But you won't touch your building. Okay? There's no safety issue. Okay. I'm now going to touch upon some questions, very weird questions. I saw in newspaper or hear from new radio of some people mentioning the problem with recognition. I quote 3. Okay. One is from a previous civil servant. Okay. He said the reclamation will cause the sea level to rise, threatening our well-being. Well, that's a big title. Huh? So let's do some mathematical calculation. Okay. Again, take example for Tung Chung. Altogether, we are putting 20 million cubic meters of material into the sea. Of this 20 million, only 60 million is in the water. The rest 4 million is above water, obviously. So we all know basic principle, that's back in primary school. If you put something into water, the water level will rise. Okay? So it depends on the volume and the area. Volume divided by area, how much higher the water level will rise. Okay? So, as I said, it's 16 million in the water. Okay? But the area of water surface in the world is 5,000 million kilometers square. Okay? So, if you divide by such a number, it's 0.8013 meters. That's 0.50 millimeters. Is the big deal? No. Even it's 10 times as large, it's still 0.401313 millimeters. So whoever is making that sort of argument is either not done his homework or is purposely misleading the reader. Okay? Yes, it did rise, but to what extent? So that's why we need facts and figures to tell us the truth. All right. Then some people mention global warming, okay? And the sea level is rising. So typhoon is getting fierce every year, okay? So reclamation cannot stand against those typhoons. He just tried to mix everything together. Okay? I tried to break down one by one. According to the IPCC report, because of global warming, whether it's 100% true or not, let's say assuming it's true, the sea level is on the rise between 1993 to 2013, 20 years. It rises about 55 millimeters, which is 2.6 to 2.9 millimeters per year. Is that comparable what we are talking about? We claim the land to plus 5 meter or plus 6 meter. It's not comparable. Typhoon actually is a real issue because the typhoon in the recent years is getting fierce. The latter tomorrow, when it's reclaimed, I think 60% or 70% is public housing. The rest is private. Of course, excluding all the facility required. Okay? But the question, of course, is you say, why 70%? Why 60%? If government want to make money, the easy path is sell all to them, right? Make tons of money. Because the Bureau director was claiming that just by selling the 30% of the land, they already get their cost recovered. Okay? So when you can say, why don't they tell that 80%? But you hear comments like, oh, you take into a prison, somebody said too many public housing is no good, So where do you draw a line? If too many public area, you say it's become prison. If too many private area, you say it's making money. So you suggest something that will work. Unfortunately, in this case, government preempt the situation too soon. Okay, they actually should suggest 2 or 3, and then get money to do a study of both. Then come to some conclusion, which will be more convincing. At least you feel you have a choice. You can make your choice. But basically, I mean, this is an engineering and planning issue. It's not understood by everyone, really. Okay, so something, if you cannot comment on medical problem, right? So likewise, you think everybody can be engineering, but I'm sure you're not now, right? Because it's a profession. It's not something you want to, I say I'm an engineer. No. Sorry, I'm quite blunt.
Okay, that's okay. All right, I'll tell you what. I'm going to do a little time out here. The food is getting cold and you guys are getting hungry.
Take a picture.
Of course, we take a picture, right? I'm sure you have a lot of questions to ask. Can you stay behind us?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to actually do the Q&A while we're eating and drinking coffee, tea. No whiskey or brandy. I'm sorry. All right, is it okay? So, and also, one point that I also want to always throw out to students. When you ask a question, don't make it, 20 miles long. You understand that? People will lose you. The person who answers the question will get lost. And people around you get lost. You ask a question, ask a precise and concise question. To the point, right? Short and snappy. So that allowing, the person who answered the question to be clear in his mind what you're asking. You actually went too long for your question, okay? Now this STC is also a course of communication, right? When you do go on one day to work in the real world, you're going to communicate with your boss. You're going to communicate with your subordinate. So you have to be able to speak clearly, slowly and clearly, and keep it short. Let's just break for food right now, okay, and coffee and tea. And then, we will answer, Derek, will be here to answer questions. But before we do that, a group photo. Okay, now you guys sit where you are, don't move. And all those, cameras at the back, please come forward, please.